my beautiful
Yes,
wife.
my
I love
husband.
so much. How are you?
Good, baby.
You good?
I'm great. Always
Yeah.
good.
It was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
You?
I'm great. I'm amazing. Better today than yesterday.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I just
Why
woke
is
up
that?
off. Just was off and haven't felt like that in a while.
Hmm.
But again, I just rely on him for strength. Rely on him for guidance, and I know that he's more powerful and when we're weak. And so I just learning to rely on him more is, I think, kind of what he's teaching me now in this season is just reliance and not being self-reliant and just learning to trust him more and more every single day for literally everything has helped me. And I just wanted to just talk a little bit to that, and I know we're in a season of like complete surrender to him. You just left your job
Yeah, yesterday was my last day of work.
last day.
Yeah.
Does it feel any different, any better, worse?
No, honestly, like it was such a different experience for me because my job was like so easy
Yeah.
and I didn't really have anybody like watching over me. I didn't have meetings. I didn't have like, I just like did my job and then did whatever I wanted to do for the rest of the day. Like I worked for like 2 hours a day. And then,
Yeah.
so it wasn't, I would have kept the job, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel better now that I could just like wake up without an alarm. That's probably the only difference.
Rolling over your laptop.
Yeah, I literally roll over,
Yeah.
clock in, and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
The good life. But yeah, I feel good. I feel great. I feel secure in the Lord and secure in the fact that He's going to take care of us and that we are fully in His hands and we literally have no idea what is next, but we are putting our faith and our trust in Him.
Yeah.
So, and I've never felt more peace. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of what I want to talk to is like the peace
Beyond
that we feel
understanding.
that we're experiencing. And, I think like when you get thrown into the deep end of a pool and you've never really swam before, you're like one or two things can happen. You can either freak out and panic, or you can like learn to latch on to something, learn to grab on to something. And I realized that even like in our relationship too, like in our marriage, like when we are so comfortable with the everyday life and when we're doing things that are so routine and we have relied on our own strength or we can see what's in front of us, it's very easy to be quote unquote good in that situation. And I think now, because we don't have that comfort, we don't have that, we don't have all the answers
The perceived.
right in front of
Yeah.
us. And it's like now we're in the deep end and we don't know where to go or we don't have the answers. Like I'm finding myself becoming more intimate with the Lord, with God, because I know that I'm going to need him now more than I ever did before, and like before I didn't necessarily, not that I didn't need him, but like subconsciously I was like, well, I still have income coming in. I still have my job. I'm still working. So I don't have to freak out that much. And it's teaching me a lot about like true surrender and true reliance on him and like what it feels to be in the deep end, and it's like our life jacket is completely the Lord now, and we don't have anything to rely on. And I think that's the only way to really grow your faith and to test your marriage, in marriage. I think like if we didn't have the foundation of Lord, like what would we do now? Where would our minds be in this situation if we lost our jobs out of nowhere, or if we were in a situation where we didn't have all the answers figured out? Like, would we have peace? And I think a lot of times life can be so easy when you're so comfortable. But like when you're put in situations where you have to trust on something else that you can't necessarily see, and in our case, it's believing in the Lord, it gives us that solid foundation to where even if we have nothing, we have everything. And that's just what I'm learning now, is to let go of what has held me in bondage for years, really my whole life. And just learning to, like, I'm more concerned about you. I'm more concerned about my relationship with the Lord that's what it's teaching me. It's teaching me to be more like not thinking about things of the world and thinking about things that actually matter, because they're no longer a part of my life anymore. And so like, it's just opening my eyes to knowing that, yes, it's the unknown, but you're also walking in the favor with God at the same time, because that's where you can see the true power of him. And so, yeah, I just think it's teaching me a lot, showing me a lot. It's teaching me to trust him in every situation, because again, nothing is familiar at this point. You know, I think we get so comfortable in what's familiar that we kind of lose our real identity in Christ, because we're surrounded by all these things that are so comfortable all the time.
Yeah. What did I say to you in the car yesterday when I was on my way? I was like, if you don't step out, what did I say? Do you remember? I was like, if you don't step out of the water, like how are you going to test to see if the Lord is going to catch you? Mm-hmm. And I think, speaking to what you're talking about, I feel like the only way that I have like learned to be comfortable where we are now and grew to be like secure in the Lord is by like really learning who the Lord is and really growing an understanding of like the depths of the Lord that we serve. Like we serve a very, very, very big, powerful, mighty God. So much so that he created the universe and all the stars and this earth, and he created every single human being. Like understanding that entity, that being is the one that is watching over me and protecting me and guiding me has given me so much comfort. And I don't think I would be able to feel the way that I'm feeling, the peace that I'm feeling now, if I didn't fully understand my God, if I really didn't understand or like research and read the Bible with the lens of like, what is this teaching me about the Lord? Because I think we've mentioned this before, but I, before this season, would like read the Bible to get something for myself, to like apply to me, and like, what is this telling me about me? What can I get from this for myself? And I've been shifting my perspective to ask myself, like, what does it teach me about God? And when I read through that lens, it's like there's every it's like so many consistencies, all consistencies throughout the entire Bible of like who God was in the garden, who he was in Jesus, who he was in First Kings, like all the ways that he has showed up consistently, and reminding myself like that's the same God that lives today, and that's the same God that loves me and died for me and wants the best for me. So just having that understanding of the Lord and understanding who he is and the relationship and growing my relationship with him is literally the only way that we are able to feel this security in a season that seems very unsecure and unstable and unpredictable, because it is. But when you have put your faith in something bigger than yourself, and when it's in the Lord, and you really, really believe that he's going to take care of you, he's going to take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, like we don't really know where we stand with the Lord until these things are removed. You know, it's again, if you have all the things that are providing for you right in front of you, and you have a relationship with the Lord, and then those things are completely taken from you, how you are in those moments is really where you'll see like your true spiritual maturity in that situation. And, you know, I think, you know, when I was reading Luke and it talks about Jesus blessing the children, and it says, one day some parents brought their little children to Jesus so he could touch and bless them. But when the disciples saw this, they scolded the parents for bothering him. And then Jesus called for the children and said to the disciples, "Let the children come to me. Don't stop them, for the kingdom of God belongs to those who are like these children. I tell you the truth, anyone who doesn't receive the kingdom of God like a child will never enter it." And I just keep thinking about the childlike faith, and as in just completely letting go and letting God, because it's unpredictable to us, but it's not unpredictable to him. And it's like the more we try to control, the more like the deeper we're going to get into a situation to where God has to remove you and take you out of these things, and the longer it's going to take for you to get to where he actually wants you to go. And that's why I just think having that faith and getting comfortable, because once you go through all the seasons intentionally with God, everything else becomes that much easier to go through. Like if you're making a big decision to do something, or if you're looking to start a business, or if you're looking to, leave your job, or if you're looking to have a family, whatever decision that you're looking to make that you don't have all the answers to, but you feel God is calling you to it. Once you have those every season, you have now a testimony and something to actually fall back on. And because without it, you're you're panicking, you're freaking out, you're swimming without really knowing what's going to happen, what's in front of you. And I know for us in our marriage, in our relationship, once we get through this and once we go through this, it's going to make the foundation of our marriage that much stronger, because we now have seen what it's like to go through every single season with him. And we know what it looks like to trust him. We know what it looks like when we're in a season we're supposed to be, learning something or preparing something, because we understand it's always for our good. It's always to help us. It's always to grow us. And it's always to strip us from the things that we consider idols in our lives without even sometimes realizing it. We could be blind to it completely. And so that's why I just want to encourage anyone who's never really stepped out and actually taking like a chance or a leap of faith to being obedient. Like the favor of the Lord is real. The favor of everyday life that you like, even if it doesn't have to do with your calling, but like we experience favor when we're actually paying attention to it in our everyday life. And I think that's intentional from God to remind us that this is what happens when you remain obedient to what I'm calling you to do. And so that's why I just think it's important that we understand that as we go through these seasons, as we navigate life, as we experience the ups and downs of everything, walking in this new life that we have, that we stay rooted in, like once we get through these seasons, that is when we really can have that solid foundation. We can ultimately grow from that point on.
What would you say the seasons are, if you had to like describe the seasons? Because I feel like before I knew Christ, I feel like every year was like the same year. Every season was like the same season of like being stuck in like not being able to progress, things not going well. So just for someone, because I always think back to who I like was before Christ, and like I just feel like I was always stuck and like nothing would work out and nothing would happen, and I was just like miserable and making myself distracted with things that I didn't need to be distracted with when the Lord was there waiting for me to like, grow a relationship with him. So like what would those seasons, how would you categorize or describe those seasons?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, I don't have every right answer, but I'll just try to articulate the best way I can. I think God is so intentional to where when I look at the seasons of the world, you have spring, summer, fall, winter, I do think that he relates it very similar to that. But there's also seasons with the Lord, and there's seasons when you aren't following the Lord. Because when you're not following him, and you're always going to be in a season of lack. And that's why now the fear of the Lord.
I don't know about that.
Which part?
About being in a season of lack.
Well, I was going to get to the fear of the Lord is when you're in a situation to where you're not scared of him, but you're scared that he's not with you. And that's why I said the lack of is if the Lord isn't calling you to be in that season, to be where you are, it's going to be a lack because he wants to use you for something greater. Okay. And that's why if you pay attention to the season, like you could be in a dry season simply because God doesn't want you to be there anymore. And if you're not aware of that, then you're going to think that, the Lord isn't with me or I'm in a particular season, but yet when you're in 4 seasons with the Lord, it's for a purpose. But if you're not with the Lord, you're going to be in sin. You're going to be, idolatry and messing around with things that you shouldn't be messing around in. And so that's why you have to decipher where you are, if it's with the Lord or if you're just doing what your flesh wants to do, if you're doing what the world wants to do, if you're doing whatever the desires of your flesh and blood want. And so that's why for us, I think, you could be in a training season, preparation, dry season. The Bible talks about the wilderness season. You have, the harvest. And I think if you can recognize the season that you're in, a lot of times we're constantly going through these seasons for us to cut away the things that we've grown up to become normal in our life. And like for the example that you used, things weren't always working out. And I truly believe it's because the Lord didn't want you to be successful in that. Mm-hmm. And it's because he had a plan that was different from where you were. But if he makes it comfortable for you, if he makes it easy for you, if he gives you success in those areas, you're going to think that's what you're truly supposed to be doing. Yeah. And so go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, because I know it's also very real that the enemy has people successfully in where they are. And I think what was most unsettling in that season, like I just didn't know who I was. I didn't have any sense of like security, didn't have any sense of understanding. And like on paper, I was making good money for, how old I was at the time. Mm-hmm. I like had a car, I had a job, I'd go out to dinner into these really fancy restaurants like every other single week. Like on paper, okay, like things were good, but it's like that internal dissatisfaction mm-hmm. is what I mean when I say like things just weren't going well for me, because I just didn't, because the peace and the understanding and the security that I have now I did not have that before. And it was just looking to all these other things to like figure out what's going to be the thing to make me satisfied and make me happy. But on paper, like I was going shopping, I was getting my nails done, hair done, lashes and dinners. And like I would like on paper, everything was great. And I think a lot of people can be in that season where like things can be good, but like internally it's not, something's missing. Something mm-hmm. is always going to be missing until the Lord comes in and really like you said, take you through a season where like you get rid of all of these idols and bad habits. And like you said, he's just trying to get you to look like Jesus. Mm-hmm. He's trying to strip you of all the things that you thought to be the right way. And it'll look like a wilderness season. And then it'll look like when you follow him and you submit to him and you do the right thing, it'll look like a season of harvest. And then he wants to progress you to the next level. And then it'll be a season of training and preparation. So I don't know. I just wanted to speak to like you can have the things, but if something inside is just missing,
I think it comes down to priorities too, because what you're speaking on is the Lord isn't your top priority. So you're going after things that the Lord, he doesn't want you to go after.
Yeah,
he doesn't want you to put those ahead of him. And that's why we have to really, I had to really figure out like what is my top priority in my life. And because once you put him at the top of your priority, it's like, what does that actually look like? And I think he's showing me that like he has to still get rid of some things. He has to still shape me to be the person that he's created me to be because of the things that I went through. And I do think, again, everything is under his watch. And anything good or bad that happens to you, he can use for good. Mm-hmm. And so recognizing that too, and knowing that allows you, when you do step into the life with him and you're starting to walk in obedience with what he's called you to, you can now see that everything you went through was designed to prepare you for where he actually wants you to go. Yeah. And, so I just think being in the unknown is really the only way you can grow your faith and you can flex that muscle, because just like anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. And if you're always seeing what's in front of you, mm-hmm. you're never really going to have that true trust in the Lord. You're never really going to understand what it's like to go through those seasons with the Lord mm-hmm. as your number one provider, as your only life jacket, and because if he's not your top priority, like you talked about, you can have all the things, but it's temporary. It's all temporary, and it's not really going to give you that ultimate satisfaction. And And I know for our marriage, that when we go through certain seasons, we know that he's at the top of our list no matter what. And we seek him no matter what goes on. And I think the more you do that, the more it becomes a habit, and the bigger that muscle is ultimately going to be. And I think the only way you can really truly grow that muscle is if you get rid of, like what the Lord is going to do. He's going to strip you from things that you thought were, giving you the security and the safety, and it's showing me that like my real safety and security does truly come from him. And our marriage is always going to be built on that as our platform, because we would be freaking out if we didn't. We would be all over the place. And I think the seasons help us too, recognizing what season that you're in, and he's going to allow you to go through certain things ultimately to just to benefit us and to help us understand that he has everything already laid out. It's already done before we even thought about it. And that kind of gives me, rest, knowing that we're going into a season where we're completely putting our faith on him.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something about priorities before, and I just wanted to share with everyone like our schedule, because
Okay.
we spend a lot of time, and I don't know where people are at. This is not a question I ask my friends, but I'm going to start asking you guys like what your time with the Lord looks like and how often that is, because every single day, the two of us, we like barely speak when we wake up, try not to speak. And I'll be like, trying to get some cuddles and kisses and whatever. But we wake up and we go separately, and we spend a lot of time, like 3 hours with the Lord every single day.
It's also a luxury to have that.
Yes.
Same time.
Yes, it is definitely a luxury, because we were working from home even before we left our jobs. But even if we had full-time jobs, just understanding the importance of like getting that time in the morning, or even getting the time when you get home from work. I know my best friend like works from like 5 a.m. until like 3 p.m. So probably not going to be waking up at 3 a.m. to pray.
Kids and everything.
Yeah.
Life.
But I think when you ask yourself, depending on the season you are, because I do want to say like if you have kids, young kids, or if you are working like a really busy job, sometimes the schedule is going to have to change, especially with kids. But if you are working a job, because I thought about this just now, if you're working a job that doesn't allow you to have time with the Lord, what's more important?
No, I agree. I do agree with that.
What's more important? And because I could see a lot of people saying like, well, I work and I have an hour commute and I don't like, there's no time. And it's like, well, what is more important than your relationship with the Lord? And how can you implement him into your routine? Because I think that's another thing that I'm learning is like bringing him into literally every single thing that I do.
Yeah.
Even like when I'm driving, when I'm just doing the dishes, like it doesn't have to be this big grand like moment by yourself with the door closed if you can't do that. But just trying to be aware of the time that you spend with him and the intentionality that you have behind a relationship with him is really important, because that shows you what really matters, even when you're like too busy to like sit down for 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, and we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have the same amount of time. It's just a matter of what we're doing with the time that we have, that we're given. And I do think to that point that like the Lord is going to show you and say, look, I didn't ask you to have this in your life. I didn't, this isn't from me. This is what your flesh wanted. These are things that you can, get rid of so that you have more time with me. And that could be your job. It could be relationships. It could be what you do before work, what you do after work. Yeah. I mean, we all can take
I'm guilty of
the time, but a lot of times, again, we would rather sleep an extra hour versus waking up and spending time with him sometimes. And I was like that, but I realized that, when Jesus gave that prayer to his disciples about give us our daily food, it's like, I need to have my daily spiritual food with the Lord. Like I need to hear from him. And if I don't, I don't feel right. I feel off. And that's why I spend so much time, because I actually enjoy it at the same time. I enjoy spending time with him. I enjoy hearing him. I enjoy just, developing a stronger, bigger, better relationship, with him. And I pray that I never lose that. I pray that is always my foundation, because it's helped me in ways that I can't even explain. When you actually sacrifice that and wake up a little bit earlier and have a more structured, more organized schedule, is going to do wonders for you, is going to help you out in so many ways. But I think what happens is we get so caught up in the enemy's lies. We don't realize that our thoughts sometimes are not our thoughts. And that the enemy is going to be whispering these lies into your mind. When you try to set time, he's going to make you feel like you don't have enough time. Like what you're doing is you're too busy to do this, or
it's not that important.
Yeah, it's or it's not that important, or that you don't need it, or whatever the case is, right? The enemy is always going to try to take you away from spending more time with him, because the more time you spend with him, the more likely you are to walk into your actual calling in life that he has for you. And that's why the more time I spend with him, the more clear life gets for me. The more I don't get distracted, the more discernment you have, the more wisdom you gain when we're doing that. And it just helps me in so many ways that I can't explain. So just, again, I just want to encourage, this is for someone, I don't know who it is for, this conversation, but I definitely just want to encourage people to write down what your priorities are, in your life. Like, what actually does matter? What are things that you can take away? What are things that your flesh is desiring, that you're just holding on to because of an emotional attachment? What are things that's actually stopping you from taking that leap of faith to getting out there and doing what God actually has for you? Because again, we all have the same purpose, which is just to progress the kingdom of God. But our calling might look different. And I think if you're not in your calling, if you're not in that area that God has you, what's preventing you from doing that? And because he's never going to put you in a position to where you can't have enough time to seek him. That's not from the Lord. He would never want you to do that, because he knows that, like, the relationship is why he created us, is to have a relationship with him, daily. And even if it's just a walk in the park or whatever that looks like for anyone. We have
to want it too. We have to want the relationship for it. Like, he's not just going to, like, put it in our laps. Yeah. There's going to be some...
He is a gentleman. Yeah, he is.
There is going to be a level of sacrifice that the Lord wants to see from you. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice for this relationship with me? Because, like, he doesn't owe us a relationship with him. Like, he doesn't... We're all sinners. Yeah. He doesn't owe us anything. So, like, the real question should be, like, what am I willing to sacrifice for this eternal relationship with God?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think about the life that you will live when you're in obedience with him. And, I just think about Christ all the time, and he's always the first thing on my mind when I wake up. And it's like, I think about, like, what, even if he didn't do anything, I thought about this a few times when I woke up, even if the Lord did not do anything, I think we talked about this last time a little bit, he's already done enough. Yeah. And because a lot of times when we go through situations, we have so many expectations. And then I think about, if I love you, right, and I say I would take a bullet for you, what would show more love for you than that? I can't think of anything else. I'm literally saying I will give up my life for you. So what happens is I give my life for you because I love you. And then people sometimes are still asking for so many more other things that they think is going to help them get to a better place. Whether it be of this world, of this life, or whatever it is. And it's like, Jesus has already done everything that he could possibly do to show us that he loves us and that we have everything that we need. And it's like,
he's the source.
That he's the true source of it all. And so that keeps me grounded. It keeps me humbled. It keeps me from wanting or for thinking that I want to pray for more and have more. And it's like, I don't deserve any of the things I'm asking for. Jesus has already done enough for me. It's like, what more does he need to do? He gave up his life, on the cross. And if I can't respect and honor that on a daily basis, then I don't deserve to be saved. is kind of where I am. But
not only did he die, but he died for us.
yeah,
That's like the biggest part. It's like he died for
yeah,
us, and he died so that we are not held responsible for our super sinful lives.
yeah,
And that's what we spoke about in the last episode. It's just like having the last two episodes, having this contentment with the Lord, because he's already done everything that we need. Like everything that we need comes from him. The relationship that we have with him is sufficient for our entire lives, because that's our source. He is the source, not our jobs, not what's in our fridge, not like our marriage. It's the Lord is our true source. And once we like fully get super aware of that, because I think I mentioned this before, for so long when I first started this journey with the Christ, with the Lord, I didn't really understand what it meant. Like, oh, Jesus died for your sins, and
Okay.
like I was just like, all right, cool. Like, what does that even?
yeah.
Like,
No, that's
I didn't get it.
fair. That's fair.
I really didn't get it. But like until you really take time, you sacrifice, and you attend a church that really feeds and speaks the true word, and you start reading the Bible, and you cut things out of your life, then the veil will be removed from your eyes, and you'll be really able to understand. Because I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, like he died for me, but like I don't, it was just like confusion. But like the more that you dust off the cobwebs and you get into the word and you take it seriously, the more you're going to understand and the better your life is going to be.
Yeah, no, it is. I think a lot of people are in that boat because it was just so long ago. And a lot of times if we go through life, and because you might be the only person that, like, if a non-believer, you might be the only person they ever hear the gospel from, or hear the truth of Jesus from. And that's one thing I'm trying to, get better at, is knowing that, because I didn't grow up in a household where church was a top priority. That wasn't something that I ever did. I never went to church, never heard anyone ever talk about it. I knew of him, and I always believed in a God. I knew that there was something like bigger out there. But I didn't know the depths of it. I didn't know how deep it was, and how powerful he is, and how much control he's in, and how the whole world is shaped from him, and all the creation. It's just, and the more intrigued I got, over it. And so I'm really encouraging myself to be the one to spread it to someone else that needs to hear it, because you might be the only person to ever hear it from. And that could be the missing piece, the missing link for their life. And because I'm just speaking for myself, it's completely changed my life. It is completely, and not so much just being saved, but just the relationship that I have with him has created the foundation of truth. And now I'm not going based off of my thoughts and my intellect. Like, my heart has changed because of him. And that's helped me in ways that I'll never really be able to explain. And I want everyone to experience that, experience the thirst and the hunger of, I can't function. It's almost like a lot of people put coffee before the Lord. They're like, I can't speak to you until I have my coffee. To me, I can't function. I can't have like a relationship until I receive the word, until I read and get something that's gonna fuel me, and like that is, I want people to replace the coffee with the word. You know what I mean? And not saying don't drink coffee. I drink coffee every morning, but it's just a matter of, what are your priorities, and what is the top, what's number one in your life, and just flexing that muscle, because the bigger it gets, the more you're going to want to use it, and the more you're going to want to try to seek him in everything that you do in your life.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about in this journey, in this season, and what we're doing is like being able to show people like what it looks like what, like,
me too.
some big old faith looks like.
Yeah, no, in a way, I feel like we're doing this not even for us.
Yeah.
I truly want to do this for the Lord, for number one, but I do want to show people real time, like, we dropped everything, and
a lot of people are not going to get it, but
no, it's fine. It doesn't have to, but I think just planting the seed and letting God be God, do what he does, but I love you.
I love you.
Anything else you wanted to
No.
share, or anything on your heart?
Just excited
Yeah.
for what God is going to do. That's it.
Yeah. No, me too. I'm excited. Looking forward to it. But yeah, hopefully this helps someone. We kind of were all over,
Just
but
winging it.
just talking
Letting the Holy
about where we
Spirit
are.
do what
And
the Holy Spirit does. Since nobody wants to leave a request for a video yet.
no, it's
Still
all right.
waiting for that.
It's all right. It'll come. But yeah, hopefully you got something from it. Took something, take it, eat it, meditate on
word.
it, and just where are your priorities is what I
Yes.
would ask. But yeah, we love you guys. We appreciate it if you're still here to the end.
See you
I
next
love you.
week. I love you.
Like, subscribe, share if it's in your
Yeah,
heart, on your
all that
heart.
good stuff.
If anyone needs to hear anything that we said that might have helped. But yeah, peace, love, praise Jesus.
Praise God.
All right.